Hello, welcome to our live stream. Hello. Hi, welcome to our live stream. We are mainly about the spiritual wisdom and human warmth found in works by the Chinese writer Mr. Xuemo. So please subscribe our channel and wait a second. It is so tight. Okay. So we just finished our London book fair for 3 days, and it is actually a lovely place here. A very lovely place here in London, and the London Book Fair is very professional. They're all about the publishers who is attending the London Book Fair is the publishers, the marketing, the agents, and literary agents, the bookstores, and several cultural goods uh, brands. So you can purchase the goods from them and retail in your shop.嗨，请给我一段全英文的直播文案，我不要提纲，就是整个需要整段可以读的这种。今天在明爱学院举行了这个许梦老师的访谈，就是关于东方智慧，还有这个心流这个概念的一个讲话。We had a dialogue and the event at Ming Ai Academy today. It is a very meaningful day here in London at Ming Ai Academy. We had a remarkable interview and dialogue between Xuemo and Vivian, centered on the topic that deeply touches modern life, the Eastern wisdom and the flow mind of the human being. Flow mind. Actually, based on Xuemo's philosophy, the flow mind is not equal to the enlightenment. So the flow mind is like you can practice and then you can enter into that life status about so what made today especially powerful was that this was not simply an academic conversation nor only a literary discussion. It became a real exploration of a question that many people today are silently facing. How can modern people remain? The first question is from Vivian. They started the topic by a topic. They started the dialogue by the first top. The topic is feel tired. tired about all those things handling every day. Why we feel so tired? The main reason that you don't love that the things you are handling, and secondly, you work so hard at it. So how can modern people remain inwardly stable when the outside world becomes increasingly fast, noisy, and fragmented? In today's world, people have access to enormous. Hi, hello. Please subscribe our channel if you're new here. Thank you so much, and you can share our channel with different into your social community. So in today's world, people have access to enormous amounts of information. Technology, technology develops rapidly, and artificial intelligence is changing the rhythm of life. And the material conditions are richer than ever before. Yet at the same time, many people feel more distracted, more anxious, and less connected to themselves. This is why the concept of flow become so important. But today, what was especially interesting is that Xuemo did not explain flow only as a psychological state or a productivity concept. He connected it to something much deeper in Eastern thought, a kind of inner alignment where the mind becomes quiet, focused, and no longer trapped by unnecessary inner conflict. He explained that true flow is not merely about efficiency. It is not simply performing better. Real flow begins when a person reduces inner noise, lets go of excessive attachment, and enters a state where action and awareness become naturally unified. ，Nicole, hello, can I play piano? A little bit like a kindergarten class. So I'm not doing that right now. If you're new here, please subscribe our channel. Thank you so much. And in Eastern wisdom, this is very close to the idea that when the heart is no longer constantly pulled outward, a person begins to return to clarity. Really? Thank you. And this clarity is not passive, it creates strength. A person who is inwardly clear does not easily collapse under pressure. A person who is inwardly clear can make choices without panic. A person who is inwardly clear does not lose direction simply because the work becomes complicated. One very moving point mentioned today was that modern people often try to solve inner disorder by adding more external control, more schedules, more goals, more stimulation. But sometimes what is truly needed is the opposite, a return to silence, a return to observation, a return to understanding one's own mind. Hi, YouTube. Stepworthy. Hello. Hi, thank you for your kind words. Thank you. Please subscribe our channel if you're new here. And this is where Eastern wisdom offers something unique to the world. It does not immediately ask you to conquer the outside world. It first asks, can you understand the movement inside yourself. Because once a person begins to understand the source of fear, desire, compassion, comparison, and restlessness, many external struggles naturally begin to change. That is why today's conversation felt deeply relevant, not only to literature, but also to education, psychology, creativity, and even the future direction of humanity. What touched many people present today was that this wisdom was not presented as theory alone. It came through stories, through lived experience, and through very direct reflections on how people today can face uncertainty without losing inner balance. So perhaps this is why Eastern wisdom continues to attract attention internationally, because beneath different cultures, many human questions are actually the same. How do we remain whole? How do we act without losing ourselves? How do we live with meaning in an age of speed? Today's dialogue in London was not only a cultural exchange, it felt like a bridge between East and West, between ancient insight and modern anxiety, between literature and life itself. And I believe this is only one step in a much larger journey. Because after London, more dialogues, more university exchanges, and more international conversations are still ahead.再来一段关于选择自己的环境的重要性。按照雪峰老师的说法，就是原生家庭不能改变，但是你可以为你的孩子选择一种环境，你也可以为自己去选择一种环境，而这种最重要的环境就是读书会。像雪妹老师20几年前，雪妹老师能够成功的最重要因素就是他为自己创造了一个小环境，在西部的那种贫瘠的土壤上创造了小环境，然后在20多年前，他开始举办读书会，从一开始的几个人，然后慢慢的就走向了全国，有了全国的读者，然后呢，现在我们又走向了全球，拥有全球的读者。所以环境重要，然后举办读书会非常重要。帮我延展一下，整段的非常长的文字给我。So there is another very important idea that came through so clearly today, and that is this: the environment we live in shapes the direction of our lives. Very often, people feel trapped by what they cannot change. They cannot change the family they were born into. They cannot go back and rewrite their childhood. They cannot erase the limitations, misunderstandings, or emotional wounds that may have surrounded them in their early years. In that sense, one's original environment is not something one gets to choose. But according to Xuemo's understanding, this is not the end of the story. You may not be able to choose where you began, but you can still choose the environment in which you continue to grow. You can choose what kind of voices surround you. You can choose what kind of people you work with. You can choose what kind of ideas enter your mind each day. And if you are a parent, you may not be able to rewrite your own past, but you can consciously create a different environment for your children. You can offer them a space of nourishment, of beauty, of reflection, of values, of reading, and of inward growth. This is a very hopeful idea because it means that human beings are not only the products of fate, we are also participants in the shaping of our future. And among all the environments a person can choose, one of the most important in Xuemo's work view is the environment of a reading community, a study circle, a book club, a place where people gather not merely to consume information, but to elevate one another through shared reflection. So, why is this so important, the reading club? Because a reading community is not only about books, it is about atmosphere, it is about rhythm, it is about influence, it is about the invisible force of shared aspiration. When people come together to read, to reflect, to ask deeper questions, to listen, and to grow, they are doing much more than exchanging words. They are creating a field of consciousness. They are creating a small environment that protects what is fragile but precious in human beings: sincerity, thoughtfulness, patience, depth, and the longing for meaning. And in the noisy age, this kind of environment becomes even more important. Today, people are surrounded by distraction. Attention is constantly being broken. Emotions are constantly being triggered. The world is full of speed, reaction, stimulation, and noise. Under these conditions, if a person does not intentionally choose a good environment, then the environment will choose them. They will be shaped by randomness, by algorithms, by anxiety, by comparison, by empty trends, by the pressure to keep up. So the question becomes to if we don't consciously build a nourishing environment of for ourselves and for the next generation, then what kind of atmosphere will shape our minds by default? This is why Xuemo's own life journey is so meaningful. More than 20 years ago, what allowed him to grow into who he became was not wealth, not privilege, nor a natural favorable environment. He came from the western region, from land that could be described as barren, remote, and limited in material resources. The outer conditions were not rich. The soil, both literally and symbolically, was harsh. If one only looked at external conditions, it would not seem like the kind of place from which a major literary and spiritual influence would emerge. And yet, what did he do? He created a small environment for her himself. This is such an important lesson. When the larger world does not yet offer the conditions you need, you begin by building a small world of your own. You create a corner of clarity. You create a circle of reading. You create a place where values can survive. You create a space in which thought, spirit, culture, and aspiration can take root. That small environment may begin with only a few people. It may begin in a humble room. It may begin without applause, without influence, without recognition. But if the spirit within it is real, then over time it becomes a source of energy that cannot be ignored. This is exactly what happened. More than 20 years ago, Xuemo began organizing reading gatherings. At first, there were only a handful of people, a few readers, a few companions, a few hearts willing to sit together with seriousness and sincerity. It did not look large, it did not look powerful, it did not look like a movement, but great things often do not look great in the beginning. They begin quietly, they begin patiently, they begin with a few people who truly care. And slowly that small environment grew. It grew because it answered a real human need. It grew because people discovered that reading went down deeply and collectively. It's not a luxury. It is a way of rebuilding one's inner world. It is a way of reclaiming one's attention. It is a way of refining one's spirit. It is a way of meeting better thoughts and through them becoming a better self. So from a few people, the circle expanded. From a local gathering, it gradually reached wider regions. From a small reading environment, it developed into a larger community with readers across the country. Hi, if you're new here, please subscribe our channel. Thank you so much. We are bringing Xuemo's work internationally. And now, over time, that journey has continued beyond the national boundaries. Today, it is moving toward the world. Now, there are readers from different countries, different languages, different cultural backgrounds, all entering into this field of dialogue and reflection. This is a very powerful reminder that environment is not a minor detail in human growth. It is often one of the dis- decisive factors. I decide to go out because I'm so sleepy. It is very lucky that I have codes with me. Hello, if you're new here, please subscribe our channel. I'm going out for a walk to see the night view of London. Okay, first I will check here. It is a night view of London. We live in the Novotel. Hello, Aaron. Hello, welcome. Hi, it is a night view of London. Hi. What is it? Oh, night view, street view in London. Yay. If you have anything you want to talk about, you can leave your message. We are bringing Xuemo's works to London. What? No way. Thank you.
You cannot go out from here. This one is the.
Okay.
You can use that one. I think. That one.
Okay, this one is open. Oh, no, okay. Okay. Yeah, I understand. Thank you. Where can we out? We are mainly about the spiritual wisdom and human warmth, found in the works by the Chinese writer Mr. Xuemo.